Welcome to The Weekly. I'm Jeremy.
I'm Chris.
And this week on The Weekly, Diablo board game and RPG.
Okay.
AI war images.
Oh, yeah.
The Electric State. Star Wars RPG reprints.
Okay.
And D&D streaming finally launches. Kind of, I guess.
All right.
Yeah. We've been talking about this for
we're ending on a whimper. All
yeah,
right.
Yeah, we're ending really, really badly. You'll be talking about that forever. All right. So let's start with, initially I saw this and I'm like, oh, another IP. Somebody got this IP. They're just going to throw it out there. Video game to board game translation. So the hellish video game Diablo is getting both a board game and an RPG.
Okay.
And then I saw the company that's doing it, and it kind of made me feel a little bit more encouraged. So it's Glass Cannon Unplugged, who have done a Frostpunk adaptation and an Apex Legends adaptation of game to board game. And their campaign, their Kickstarter that they ran for Apex Legends was amazing because they had a what's the board game simulator, the tabletop simulator. They had the game completely in tabletop simulator with all the cards and everything for you to play test during the campaign, and they're taking feedback constantly on their Discord, and they're making like almost daily changes to the cards and things. So you can keep testing it, and they keep like doing play balancing and stuff. So they're really, really open to feedback from players and asking people, if you've had experience with this game, does this the video game, does this board game recreate that? They really, I was surprised how often they updated and how much they were listening to feedback from people. And so they said they're going to do the same thing with Diablo. Okay,
mixed feelings on that, but okay.
Yes. So but for them, and I wonder if they're going to do that with the board game as well, have the virtual, tabletop simulator version of it.
Why wouldn't they?
Yeah.
Stands to reason, right?
But I think that was just amazing. I've never seen such a company so responsive. It must have been insanely labor intensive to do that during the month of a Kickstarter campaign. But anyhow, we've got board game and RPG, and they're going to delve into the wider lore and mythos of the world of Sanctuary, the setting for Diablo. And I was really surprised. We're up to Diablo 4, but there's a ton of, like, Blizzard has released like books of history of this game. There's like really deep lore that they have to explore. So it'd be interesting. So your players in the game, and this kind of, there's a little bit of mix here, which is interesting, are known as champions, and you'll be exploring dungeons, tombs full of undead horrors, with randomized and procedurally generated dungeons. The ever-shifting world of Sanctuary, they're calling it. And so multiple opponents will in battle at the same time. And for the RPG, they're saying it will have a satisfying and fast-paced combat, and also a unique rule set, so no 5e port or anything. And the other mechanic that they will use is the inner struggle. The inner struggle with a balance between the forces of light and darkness. So kind of a corruption mechanic. So between sin and integrity. And the creative team wants to continue the lore and the story. So the roleplay system. This is a quote from them. The roleplay system will be based on the entire franchise, and we will invite the players to travel the vast world of Sanctuary, east to west, north to south, old to new. So this RPG is going to be released at next year's BlizzCon, which usually happens in fall, early November, late October, usually. And then 12 months will be spent after that. I guess the announcement, they'll be announcing it. The release at BlizzCon. And then they'll do from now until then, they're going to be doing 12 months of playtesting. So they'll have open surveys with community feedback to get as close as they can to what players are feeling is the feel of it. So previously they did Frostpunk, Dying Light, which is another video game adaptation, and Apex Legends. The quality of the of everything, the terrain and everything for Apex was insane. It was the buildings, like you have this whole huge so I think some people are just going to buy it for the terrain because they had collapsible buildings that looked exactly like settings in the game, but they all folded down and went into the box. That's cool. So they're doing a lot of interest. I mean, we haven't seen the final versions of that, and I've only played the digital versions, but so very interesting. So after that, the role-playing game will go to Kickstarter, and so the world debut will be next year's BlizzCon. So we've got a core rule book, and the interesting thing is what they want to do is kind of have these two projects fuel each other. So they're going to have interchangeable components because you can use the miniatures from the board game for the RPG and share components as well as complementary expansions. So the expansions they make for the board game will also be playable as an RPG. So it's a duplication. So it's interesting. Like you'd have to decide which one you're going to play.
I mean, I assume unlimited time. You could probably do both, right?
But with the kind of spoiling. If you play the board game, and then it's like, oh, we know that's where the evil cultists live, and it changes the. I was just thinking a little bit of the spoilers. That's going to be hard to prevent. So they want a fully integrated product line. So it's interesting. So yeah, and their quote is, they want fan favorite mechanics torn straight from the screen for this Diablo board game and RPG. And so one more quote from them. This is on their website. We value your input. Take a moment to complete our survey and let us know your needs and desires for the Diablo TT.
Oh, for the Diablo. Yeah. Okay, there you go.
Not in general. That might get a little...
Your needs and desires specifically for this thing, right? Okay.
Yes, for Diablo TT RPG experiences, your feedback will drive the enhancements we make. Let's co-create the ultimate game together. So a lot of encouraging kind of talk like that, and they really are responsive. I was surprised. Infinity Discord kind of they started a little topic or a little server where everybody was talking about this game while it was Apex was being playtested by this company, and it was they were really responsive. I was surprised by that. So what do you think? Is that going to make a good game?
Not specifically about this, but like, okay, the constant feedback, right? I think constant fan base feedback can sometimes be at odds with like the creator's vision or statement, and that's not trying to be like hype or anything, but it's like, have an idea, right?
Yeah,
for this thing, right? And kind of see it through. And I guess it's not completely at odds, but yeah, if you're making a game based on an IP, you want fans of that IP to say, yes, this feels like the IP you're designing for. This feels like whatever it came before. And getting feedback, right? Not all feedback is good, right? I guess to boil it down, this kind of seems like trying to please everyone means you're going to please no one.
Right. Yeah, and hopefully they're not going. Hopefully they have like a design pipeline or production where they're going to have certain branches where they're like, okay, now let's see what people think of this, and okay, that didn't go over well, or that's fine, or we didn't get enough of a discontent to rethink that. So hopefully, yeah, they have like kind of limitations in mind where they'll be able to keep moving forward in production and not get stuck in these loops of, well, let's make it stronger, let's make it weaker, let's make that, But and it seemed like they were doing that with Apex. That was amazing because each of the heroes has like an individual power, and they were just making these little adjustments based on, it was several people that were playing the game and giving them feedback. So they had a good amount of data to kind of say, okay, we're seeing most people running into this problem. So
like that's where I would agree with it, right? Like most people are running into this problem. Okay, well then let's address and fix
maybe
the
for a board game that's a bit easier than an RPG.
I think so.
Because I think the range of experiences in an RPG are going to be hard to kind of quantify and put into a data sheet, a spreadsheet. So we'll see. Yeah. So I was surprised by this, and I guess they have a license now. It's like a 3-year deal with Blizzard, so we may see some more.
As much stuff as they can cram through that pipeline in 3 years.
I may see more board games. So that's interesting. And I hope it's not going to be affected because Blizzard was the acquisition just went through of Microsoft buying Blizzard, Activision, whatever. So I hope that doesn't, just like with the Disney thing, just kill all the projects. So hopefully this is not going to just disappear.
Especially after people pledge to it.
Yeah, right. Right. So, so look for that next year, and the crowdfunding for that and the announcement at BlizzCon. So we'll see. They do a good job. I mean, I really was... Frostpunk got really good reviews, and I was involved in the campaign for Apex Legends, just playtesting and stuff, and it was surprisingly responsive. So if they keep that kind of thing up, I think they'll it'll go well. Oh wait, was this not in the introduction? I think I forgot something. Yes, I did. All right, before we get into the war with the machines, let's talk about something wonderful and nice. So there's a current Kickstarter for Mythic Bastionland.
Yes, I've heard of this.
Yes. So This is Chris McDowell, so the maker of Into the Odd and Electric Bastionland. And so this is billed on the Kickstarter page as before Into the Odd. So this is the kind of prehistory of that setting so far. So some flavored text from the book itself. So on cold Miston hills, beast witsome and fell, in holdings and havens the vassals add well. Seers know all, the start and the end, myths, plural, hushed aloud, to which truth must amend. Aside vagabonds or snakeling trails, knights render their stories a wrench from their veils. I have a feeling a lot of these things aren't actual words. From the oath for the glory, through the sorrow and ache, the city, capital C, that quest to which no knight can make. So this is Knights. This is inspired by. So the inspiration is Arthurian legend, right. And the interesting thing is it's kind of opened. Like I think the other games, it's open to interpretations, like a kind of your idea of what knights are and how that. So you can follow as close to or as far from into the more fantastic that you want. So you begin. Players begin as errant knights. There are 72 different knight types that you can play as with unique abilities, passions, and spirits. And there are myths that you can follow. So it's going to have a hex crawl mechanic, and you're going to be crawling those hexes and following those myths. And in a very fast, streamlined mechanics are going to handle hex crawling, domain management, aging, exploration, and mass battles. So fast-paced, rules light, encouraging creative problem solving and decisive combat. So 1 to 4 players plus a referee.
Oh, interesting.
And so it's good for written for both ongoing campaigns that span seasons or fast-paced one-shots. Okay. And there currently is a quick start, a short, like a 64-page Kickstart that
64-page
that you can download and try it out immediately. So, and the designer said that the rules are pretty much written. We're just finishing things off, kind of waiting for art, and they're using the same artist that they used for Bastionland, and it's gorgeous. The work, so 150 beautiful color illustrations by Alex Sorensen, who worked on Electric Bastionland, are going to be completed for this. So one book will contain everything you need. There is one physical version of this book, no limited editions, and no stretch goals on this campaign.
I respect that.
Yeah, that's the way to do it. Just get this done. And the PDF will be released, a preprint PDF will be released in January. And they're using the same printer as Electric Bastionland, so if you have that book, it's going to be the same quality, a hardback letter format, about 220 pages, sewn binding with a ribbon bookmark.
Nice.
So yeah, it's so the designer said, with Mythic Bastionland, I invite you into a dreamlike medieval world of myths, glory, and adventure. So it sounds really like I love the really straightforward approach to crowdfunding and how you can play it. Yeah, 74-page quick start right now. And everything seems very open and interesting. And I think like the other games, I've backed Into the Odd, the kind of reprint of Into the Odd, and also as an add-on for this, you can get Electric Bastionland as well. So I guess they're reprinting that, or if they still have that in stock, that's coming out. So so feats and focus and a gambit system, but very straightforward. Mechanics, just like glancing at the I'm
gonna have to go look at the quick start.
Yeah, it's definitely worth it. It might be fun because it's just started, so it might be fun to try.
Well, I don't really consider 64 or 74 pages a quick start. I mean, that's just me, right? Like I constantly say I'm not impressed by like the size of a huge book, so like 64-page quick start, not a quick start.
Yeah, I think it might be the character types,
probably.
So
like it's enough to play, right?
Yes. So I think that's what it's going to be. Is a lot of that is roll your D66 or whatever is going to generate your character. And so let's move into the humanity's war with the machines. Leave all this happiness behind. So Adobe responds to a controversy over AI-generated images of Gaza explosions. So Adobe has their stock. I guess it's just Adobe stock, their photo thing. And previously they've said, these aren't for editorial use. These aren't like there's a lot of types of images that they forbid because they don't want this to be a journalist resource. But it has become that because a lot of the people that are submitting to them or posting for them are doing AI-generated work. And so just a week after President Biden in the U.S., his executive order on the use of AI highlighted potential societal harm, including disinformation, there were AI-generated stock photos of Gaza explosions that have been used on websites and blogs without being labeled AI-generated. So the Australian news outlet Crikey, of course, was one of the first ones to realize this, that they were using artificially generated images. And a spokesperson for Adobe said, Adobe Stock is a marketplace that requires all generative AI to be labeled as such when submitted. These specific images were labeled as generative AI when they were both submitted and made available to license in line with these requirements. We believe it's important for customers to know that Adobe Stock images were created with using AI tools. So they're committed to fighting misinformation and, the same kind of corporate statement. And specifically they said they're not known for editorial imaging. Their service specifically says they provide designers and businesses with access to millions of high-quality, curated, royalty-free images, but they so the types of images that they will not allow are conceptual images that are designed to illustrate articles on current events and newsworthy topics. The type of content features images of real brands and products like buildings, soda cans, computers, etc. But the things that they don't allow are specific documentation of like sporting events, social events, recognizable images of celebrities and known people, so that they stay away from all of that.
Well, I guess, okay. I have a subscription to FreePick, and recently FreePick has become almost unusable because of the amount of AI-generated crap that goes up there. There is a toggle switch you can do to like filter out AI. And I think, similar to what Adobe said here, and that's the link, I think FreePick requires people to say whether it's AI generated or not. I want to know if Adobe, I want to know how that happens.
Right.
Are we just relying on the people who submit the thing to tag their own stuff as AI? Because that seems to be what FreePick does, and even when I click that button, I'm still like, that's AI trash, right? Like, even when you turn it off, stuff still goes through, because if we're relying on people to do it themselves, they're just not reliably going to do it.
Yeah, because it'll be an advantage. Like your photos will be used more.
So I wonder how Adobe is doing that. Like I'm not going to side with Adobe, but if they're saying we don't do editorial, we provide the stuff, it's kind of on you to find out whether you're using AI or not. Like, okay, I hate to say it, but that's a reasonable stance. It's less reasonable if there's not some kind of enforcement about labeling stuff as AI.
Right, where you're just relying on how people submit it. And so don't get on Adobe's side too hard, well, especially because they don't have software anymore. They have subscription services. But the other thing that they did run into, which I didn't know that Adobe had done this, they were talking about they are going to be an ethical source of AI tools because they're not training them from stolen images.
They're training them from images that people have made and they have acquired.
So but they did run into that problem with people that have submitted because they are training their tools on Adobe Stock images and things that have been submitted that were not there was no agreement at the time. So they're not doing a great job with that. So they got in trouble. 300 million images and illustrations that without prior express notification or consent were used to train their Adobe Firefly. So Adobe's not doing great either. No one is handling this bonanza of AI.
Well, no, the thing is, okay. That all to quote Obi-Wan Kenobi, it all depends on your point of view, right? From the company's point of view, they're doing this well, right?
Yes.
We're doing everything we need to do. And from like an ethical standpoint, no, they're fucking shit in the bed, right?
Right.
So, all right.
So there was an interesting quote in the article that was saying Adobe Stock is basically cannibalizing its platform because it needs to respect the rights of the third parties and require all stock contributors to comply with their terms. Otherwise, it's just going to be the images in there are going to be used by their own AI tools to just feed back trash into their, because these stock image sites, I mean, people are just trying to make money and get a popular download, so they're going to use any advantage possible, and if that involves unchecking that generated by AI box, then that's what they're going to do.
Yep.
So more fun in the world of AI. All right.
Can we just like jump to like the Matrix style? Just plug us all.
Yes.
Like that's the
just skip.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yes. Yeah. But let's talk about something that was generated by a human that was actually and was actually discussing humanity's relationship with machines and technology.
Okay.
So the Tales from the Loop maker and creator is Simon Stålenhag. His sequel art book to kind of Tales from the Loop, similar in style, is called The Electric State, and Free League is making it into an RPG. Okay. So this isn't connected. It's similar in style, and it's a similar type of project, an art project. It's illustrations with some fiction or kind of some narrative text and writing that Stålenhag produced, and now it's being picked up to become an RPG for Free League, of course, using the Year Zero engine. And the explanation of the setting is a forlorn journey across late 90s consumerist hellscape, and the setting is specifically America in this.
We're better the place at hellscape, right?
Right. Yeah. So it's an alternative.
Consumerist hellscape.
Yes. Yeah. Right. An alternative version of the U.S. where corpses of battle mechs lie in heap alongside colossal advertisements and the waste of society choked by late-stage capitalism. So Niels Hintze will be writing it, and a lot of the Free League contributors, Thomas Herrström, Niels Karen, and Matthias Jonsson Hokke will also be working on it. They've all previously worked on all other Free League projects, and Johan Nohr will be doing the layout. So it looks like just the cover, like mock-ups and stuff they showed, it looks like it's going to have a nice design, and especially if it's going to be based on the book.
I'm sure. Like I saw the ad for this, and first I didn't realize that this was based on one of his art books, and I kind of went, whatever. Then I'm like, oh, okay, interesting. As interested as I am, I'm a little bit, not pessimistic, but if it's based on another visual art book, which of course looks stunning. Like I know it's going to look stunning, right? If it's the same Year Zero engine. Okay, Free League has definitely proven that the Year Zero engine is flexible and does lend different feels to all the different kind of like modifications they've done to it. It's not even concerned, but my thought is, how different is this going to be from Tales from the Loop?
Right.
It's
Mutant Year Zero.
But it's the same author's art book, the same writers for the system, the same system, right? So even if I'm not saying they can't do it, but my initial reaction was kind of, this probably could have been like an add-on or an expansion or something to Tales from the Loop. And if it isn't, I kind of am interested in how radically different did you make it to kind of justify it being its own RPG.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I think the setting maybe lent them to think, we're not going to connect these things, and they're not explaining. So the setting itself is basically you are a motley crew of seekers, travelers, and lost souls picking their way across the metal-strewn graveyard of military industry run rampant and commercial excess. And the story for the book is a teenage runaway and her yellow robot traveling west, so it looked like a road movie basically, and into the eerie societal ruins of 90s America. And so as they continue on, as a pair, they continue mirroring a degradation or rot at the center of the American project. So things kind of gradually, as they move westward, things kind of gradually collapse. So
that sounds like it would be a great book, which it is,
Yeah,
right?
right.
The relationship of these two characters is a metaphor for the state of their surroundings as the farther away. This sounds like one of those things where I have trouble seeing how this becomes a traditional RPG. One of those indie solo journaling things. Cool, got it. Or like a two-player kind of thing. Sure. How do you translate this into a kind of traditional group game.
Yeah, right. And it's interesting because if they're going to do kind of a Tales from the Loop approach where there's no death, there's just exploration and like being taken out of scenes and like, you know, losing your role in the story temporarily, that is going to be an interesting. So you already have Mutant Year Zero, which is deadly and your characters can die and it's a vicious, you know, post-apocalyptic setting. And so this is going to be kind of halfway there, or if they're just going to like, you know, more concentrate on the narrative of it, kind of like they do with well, characters do die in Vaesen as well, but like a mystery or exploration game where you know, they're I'm not sure like where it's gonna fall, and if you're gonna be carrying rifles or if you're just gonna be, you know, scavenging, you're just gonna be have a bag full of stuff that you're collecting.
Like I haven't read the art book, but based on its previous stuff, like I have to wonder if like the lack of a solid mystery or lack of a solid answer is kind of the appeal of one of these books, and like again, like a traditional RPG, like, okay, what's the mystery? Does there have to... I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see what they're going to do.
And I think with a lot of their games, it does feel like that, because when I did the unboxing of Vaesen and went through it, one of the comments on YouTube was like, what the hell do you even do in this game? Because, you know, I didn't read through the mystery, you know, and so they fill you in a lot. And I think Alien as well, they kind of fill you in a lot with their pre-written adventures. You kind of get, okay, this is what they're going for and this is what you do, and if you wanted to make an adventure in this with this game, this is how you would approach it. So what they are going to produce as far as the adventures included will give you some guidance, like this is how we're kind of intended to play it. But you want to hear the bad news? Okay, so and this has me worried because these people, these people, not Free League, these other people also have a license for The Walking Dead. So I think this is how this happens. So we're talking about corporate synergy here, which is not good. So this game is going to be produced in cooperation, in partnership with Skybound Entertainment. And Skybound Entertainment is a company that has a thing on their website called the Wheel of Cool or some nonsense like that. So they do comics and video games, and now they're doing, you know, tabletop RPGs. It's just nonsense. And so it's going to lead them further into the kind of cheesy, trashy, because they Skybound license a ton of stuff, and they publish a bunch of comics that I don't know if anybody's reading. So I don't know. So anyhow,
this all our Skybound comic fans.
sorry, Skybound readers. But it just has me a little worried because I don't want Free League to be kind of courted into this like cheesy American entertainment, you know, machine.
You just put out a game, or you're releasing a game where its core theme is like the corrupting rot of late stage consumer capitalism in America. Don't fall into that.
Don't fall. Don't fall. So anyhow, it's already too late. So you're forgetting about the synergy. Like everything has to have synergy. So with this partnership is also included a film adaptation of Stålenhag's story, with the Russo brothers already attached to direct of Marvel Cinematic Universe fame, and they've already signed Millie Bobby Brown and Chris Pratt to the Netflix-produced project. So immediately, that really discouraged me. Like they're going, this is what, cart before the horse or whatever. This is really bad that they're already expecting this setting to have a good enough effect. I mean, they did a really amazing series on Amazon for Tales from the Loop.
Do you think that's what?
But nobody watched it, and it didn't really have a connection. I don't think that it made people play the game, or it made people look. And maybe it made people look at the art book, but I don't think it made people play the Free League game. So I'm really worried that this is just going way off into whatever. I don't know, but
or if it's successful, this is the way forward.
Yeah, right. Oh, that's true. If everything has to be, Sweden, Embracer Group in Sweden, they're thinking too synergistic. I think they're too much multimedia in their heads at this time. So we'll see. So the road story meets dystopian meditation will become a Netflix special movie. Yeah, they're calling it a film adaptation. I don't know if that's a short series or whatever. Yeah, but if they've already got these names attached and stuff, it already sounds not great. But I would encourage people, though, if you haven't watched it, definitely check out the Tales from the Loop on Amazon Prime. That was a really interesting, because it was, you know, the default setting for Tales from the Loop is Sweden. They did an interesting thing where this has no setting, this has no time, this has no geography. You're like, I don't know where the hell we are, I don't know when the hell we are, and it really plays into that really well, because there's this technology that exists, but it's kind of this retro, strange. Yeah, it really worked well. I don't know if they can duplicate this, especially with Chris Pratt, but we'll see. We may just get a wacky version of The Last of Us. But yeah, so anyhow, that has me a little worried. So guys, please don't do this.
Don't do it.
Don't fall for it. So yeah, we'll be seeing. So the Kickstarter will start December 5th and fulfill somewhere late 2024. But it's interesting. This is not the next book in the sequence of the Tales from the Loop that Simon Stålenhag did. There was a campaign in 2020 for The Labyrinth, and The Labyrinth was a kind of a completely different story, and almost kind of mirrored strange pandemic paranoia and issues. It was about a trio of survivors trek across a wasteland in a world in the wake of an unexplainable phenomenon that awoken ancient life and mysterious forces.
That seems to me like it would be more of in line with a traditional RPG.
Yeah, right. That's so I don't know, but I think maybe the American thing sold Netflix and what's their face is Skybound on it. But anyhow, it has me a little worried. And here's another thing that has me worried. My paranoia is being stoked. So the mysterious Edge Studios, who have done almost nothing since they have become the default arm of RPG production for Fantasy Flight, working under Asmodee, they are finally releasing reprints of the 3 box sets that were the starter sets for the Star Wars RPG with the funny dice.
Right, okay.
But previously, I think spring of this year, there was an interview with the guy, the guy that's kind of directing these projects for Edge Studios. And he said, I don't know, we're working on something. I can't tell you about it. I don't know what's going on, and saying pandemic cause, reasons and everything. And so the biggest thing that people want is some of the source books that are out of print for the system if they are already playing it, and the silly dice, because you can't get the silly dice anyway. So the silly dice are going to be in these 3, well, maybe in, previously they were in, a set of them were in these beginner boxes. So that helps a lot to actually be able to get into the game. But earlier this year, they said we're having trouble. We got to find the company that has the die, the die for the injection mold, because we don't know. They kind of lost. The handover was not handled well, and so they lost those relationships. So yeah, these games originally released in 2014, so almost 10-year-old RPGs. And if you look on the shelf over there, all three of them are right over there. There was some season, like a few years after it came out, they were crazy discounted. I think I got those for like $7 each, and so the whole set. So they were very accessible once upon a time. But this includes the Age of Rebellion, Age of Empire, and Force and Destiny. So it's going to be those. Those 3 different kind of settings and pre-gen characters and an adventure to play. So you get it's not a full rule book or anything, but it'll acquaint you with the settings, and you can very easily get the PDFs of the core rule books from drive-through or whatever if you want to keep playing. So yeah, they're going to retail for $32.99 for each of the sets, and of course, adventure book and additional downloadable characters are available on the website. But don't go to the Edge Studios website. It is sat incomplete for like 3 years now. The handover is like 2020, and they haven't even finished building their website. And there's a funny link at the bottom that says, having problem with WordPress? Click here. So somebody like half built them a website, and it's just sitting there. And so there's been a lot of questioning of like, what is this? Is it a dead game? Are you still working on something? They said in the spring of this year they are still working on something, and now we finally see.
Well, I don't know what's going on behind the scenes there, but licensed game.
Yeah,
right. It's a licensed IP. Who knows what happened in the handover or what the owners of the IP are saying? So,
and who knows what Disney is thinking about Star Wars now? Maybe they're just like, don't remind people of that.
So
Star
definitely
Wars
not saying that is the case, but all I'm saying is,
yes, it could be. Okay, and for our final story, let's do this.
Not the best.
Okay, so, and that of course is we're discussing not the best of the world's greatest role-playing game, or whatever it's called now.
It's getting rebranded as the world's not the best.
Yes, that's right. The world's not the best role-playing game, which refuses to be called D&D 1 and is going to call itself 5e 2024 or something. The name is all over the place, but finally they're launching their new streaming channel with a star-studded event. Are you ready? So Wizards
No.
of the Coast is going to enter the world of actual play streaming. They've been doing that a lot already on Twitch and YouTube, but we talked years ago now. I think it was literally years ago about their free ad-supported streaming television channel.
Okay.
So they're bringing us the 3 new series on this. So we've already named these multiple times and the people involved. And basically, the motivation for this is Critical Role was the highest paid Twitch streamer in 2021 when data was leaked that they made millions of dollars streaming 5e. And so Hasbro Entertainment is going to step in. So this weekend, I guess that would be the 13th, or Monday, November 13th, for some reason is a Monday. There's a big event. I don't know where it is. I don't know how you can see this, but there's a big star-studded event that's going to launch this channel. So they are going to preview. So there's, I guess, a preview the 8th. So is this on cable, or is this?
You're also the wrong person.
What is this? So I don't know where this channel is. There's no details about how you find this, but if you know where a fast channel could be found, D&D should be on it. And of course, they're launching Encounter Party, Faster Purple Worm Kill Kill, and Heroes Feast.
Still mad that Faster Purple Worm Kill Kill is like their thing.
Yes.
Because like if you go back on my Twitter feed, like 2015 something, whatever. I'm like, someone needs to make an RPG of Faster Pussycat Kill Kill. So now I'm just like mad that someone has like stolen that out from.
They were following you on Twitter, obviously.
Apparently.
Yes. Yeah. So, so that's going to be a comedy kind of comedic mayhem with tabletop gaming and celebrity guests. So Seth Green and
already
Patton Oswalt.
Uninterested.
Co-produced by Matthew Lillard, though, the Beetle and Grimm guy selling you the whiskey. Yeah, no, with the themed whiskey and all that good stuff. And then Encounter Party seems like their only kind of legitimate actual play, and then Heroes Feast is a cooking show. Yeah. So anyhow, that's not the best. That's not the best. And I'm wondering though, Brinkwatch 2023, where is the Kyle Brink Pander Hour?
Maybe that's like. Maybe that's the big announcement. Live on Fast Channel.
So players of color are going to be apologized to and pandered to.
He's going to get fired.
Yeah, right.
Live on camera,
that would be great. That's the season finale, right?
Maybe.
It'll be like the Reverse Bachelor. Right? They'll fire their.
I hate to bring up this person now, but like that would be the thing. Like, start the season with firing Kyle, then have like a whole apprentice style thing to see who gets that position.
Oh, there we go. Yes. What person
free
of color?
Programming. There you go, Watsy.
What token hire, diversity hire, person of color, whether are they going to plug in because they're going to do the right thing? So yeah, it is day 293 since Kyle said that cis-het white men should step away from the hobby, and he still continues to run the damn thing.
Well, like you said, he didn't mean to say in a professional.
Yeah, that's right. Anyway. I'm still going to be, collecting a check and pulling the strings.
Don't play.
Yes.
Make.
Yeah, well, that's right. So that's right. We've never accused him of being a player, so that's true. I guess that's what he's saying is, so we'll step away and we'll just monetize you guys. We'll take care of the monetization. You play and be represented and unmarginalized as possible. So yes, I'm looking forward to Kyle's show if that in fact does come up on the
for certain levels of looking forward to. Yeah,
right. The Kyle Brink Pander Hour now on
whatever
Watsy Fast Channel, whatever. Yeah. So if you know, let us know in the comments if you know where in the heck you could find a Fast Channel, and what they're even thinking with Hasbro Entertainment.
What they're thinking is, look at all that money we left on the table with the Critical Role AP, right?
Right. Yeah, right. Yeah, so that they're going to try to make that up.
Yep.
So that'll do it. So sorry for the extra story there. I completely missed the Mythic Bastionland. So where can people find you?
I don't remember anymore. Nope, fell out of my head.
It begins with an X?
Nope. Doesn't begin and end with an X. I guess mildly on Threads, mostly on Instagram, and Blue Sky. HYVEMYND, where I'm still occasionally test fitting little 28mm models for all the skirmish war games we've acquired.
Nice. Yeah. Oh yeah, and you recommend or suggested that we try a Forbidden Psalm.
Yep.
Yeah, doing that from scratch. Yeah, I think, and that because that goes together really fast. So I think especially for a live stream, that would be fun to.
I think it would be fun
create our little war bands and make them as broken as possible and have them. And also too, I'd be curious in trying using that as a funnel, using that as oh, okay, I love this character in my warband. Let's take them into the RPG.
Right, so, that'd be fun.
Yeah, I'm interested if that would actually work, because it felt like that. The game that I played, A Forbidden Psalm, felt like you get attached to certain members.
The other game, I forget the author's name now, but the other skirmish game I'm looking at is Lobster Pot. Mm-hmm. Which is similar, where the connection here was you go through the character creation and it says name your character, so you know what to write on their tombstone. And I'm like, that's good. That's beautiful. That's right there.
Yeah. Nice. All right, and if you're interested in cartoons, I'm still doing one. So Abuse Cartoons is still happening weekly. So it's Abuse Cartoons on YouTube and Twitch, and it's just a live stream of me drawing the cartoon. And if you want to read the cartoon, go to GoComics. So gocomics.com/domestic abuse. And if you like what we're doing here on the weekly, consider becoming a weekling.
Yes, the strongest of all supporters.
Yes, on patreon.com/upturntable. And upturntable.com is the website for everything. And then Upturntable, of course, on YouTube and Twitch. So subscribe if you want to get notifications when we go live on this live stream. The audio for this will go out as a podcast. So wherever you see podcasts, look for Upturntable. And then also the full audio of the entire live stream after this we talk to chat goes on to the Patreon RSS feed. So and also there's a little join button if you're watching on YouTube. Yes, to become a member, so you get the same sort of exclusive content that patrons do. So thank you for joining us, and we'll be doing this again next week.
Later, mortals.
Goodbye.